my all into your hands. Learn the soul to keep.
Music has always been about rebellion, excess, and pushing every boundary society tries to set. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll isn't just a saying. For most of these artists, it was a lifestyle, a brand, and a religion in itself. But sometimes, in the middle of all that chaos, something shifts, and the person holding the microphone walks away from it all a completely different person. These are 8 musicians who suddenly became Christian. Number 1. Alice Cooper.
Is it my body or something I might be?
For decades, Alice Cooper was the face of rock and roll excess, a man who filled arenas with fake blood, snakes, and elaborate horror theater. The last thing anyone expected was that a quiet battle happening behind closed doors would mark the beginning of one of rock's most unlikely transformations. Cooper had been drowning in alcoholism for years, and it was in the wreckage of that addiction that he began attending church. Not for publicity, not for an album cycle, but quietly and without announcement, guided in part by his wife Cheryl.
So, I always refer to myself as the real prodigal son, because I went out and the Lord let me do everything. Maybe he didn't let me, but allowed it.
When the press eventually caught on and pushed him about the contradiction between his stage persona and his faith, his response was disarmingly calm. He didn't flinch. He didn't walk it back. He simply said the two things were never in conflict to begin with. The rock world didn't know what to do with that. Number 2. Little Richard. Little Richard's relationship with Christianity wasn't subtle, it was seismic, and it happened more than once. In October 1957, at the absolute peak of his commercial power, Little Richard abruptly walked away from music entirely. Not for a break, not for a hiatus. He quit mid-tour in Australia, renounced rock and roll, threw his diamond rings into the water as an act of renunciation, and enrolled at Oakwood College in Huntsville, Alabama, a Seventh-day Adventist institution where he studied theology.
I'm an evangelist now. I feel high all the time, but I don't take anything. I just don't have a desire. I think that my days should be spent now, at the age of 52, spreading the gospel.
He later described seeing a vision during a flight and interpreting Sputnik overhead as a divine sign. When he eventually returned to music, the industry assumed the chapter was closed. Then he walked away again and came back again. He never once seemed conflicted. The industry always was.
I've been searching, I've been looking, I've been searching.
Number 3. Bob Dylan.
Once upon a time, you dressed so fine, through the bumps of dime in your prime. Then you.
By the late 1970s, Bob Dylan was more than a musician. He was a cultural institution. So when he released Slow Train coming in August 1979, a full gospel album, unapologetically Christian in every single lyric, the backlash was immediate and brutal. Fans booed him live at concerts. Critics who had spent careers praising his genius called it a betrayal. At a show at Gamage Auditorium in Tempe, Arizona in November 1979, the crowd grew hostile enough that Dylan delivered long, pointed sermons between songs, doubling down on every word instead of softening anything.
Pistol shots ring out in a barroom night. It's a Betty Valentine from the floor above.
He then released 2 more consecutive gospel albums, Saved in 1980 and Shot of Love in 1981, without blinking. The man who told the world that the times they are a-changin' meant every word. He just never warned anyone it applied to him too.
You made me the heavyweight champion of the world.
Number 4. Kanye West.
And I always find something wrong. You've been putting up with my shit.
Few careers in music history have cycled through as many identities as Kanye West's. Then, in 2019, with almost no warning, he announced Jesus is King, not as a side project, as a declaration. He launched Sunday Service, a series of weekly gospel performances held in various locations that began drawing enormous crowds, and he transformed his entire creative output overnight.
Father, I stretch my hand.
When interviewers tried to frame it as a stunt, Kanye pushed back directly. He told one journalist plainly that he had found something he was not willing to trade away for relevance. Jesus is King debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, his 9th consecutive chart-topping debut. It won the Grammy for Best Contemporary Christian Music Album in 2021. The people who were laughing in January stopped laughing by November.
When I finally go to heaven, I get to talk to God, I'm gonna say, why did you let all these people think I was so crazy? And God is gonna say, well, it was a camouflage. I was protecting you.
Number 5, Dave Mustaine. Dave Mustaine, the co-founder and frontman of Megadeth, had spent 3 decades crafting some of the heaviest, darkest, most aggressive music metal history. In January 2002, a serious injury to the nerves in his left arm left him temporarily unable to play guitar, and for the first time in his adult life, everything stopped. No touring, no recording, no identity to hide behind. During the extended recovery period that followed, he later described in interviews a process of faith that culminated in his becoming a Christian.
So I'm looking at the cross and I'm just thinking to myself, man, what have I got to lose? And those 6 simple words set me on my road to a new lifestyle and new existence because I went down the hill.
A fact he made public in 2003 without apology, while continuing to front one of metal's most iconic bands. The community was divided. He addressed it from the stage at one show with complete directness. He told the crowd he had been cleaning up his life, and he acknowledged some of them didn't like it. Then he played the set. Number 6, Lil Wayne.
On my word, I stand on my word. They get on my nerves. I get high and land like a bird. Respect I don't demand, I deserve. My stand is superb.
Lil Wayne did not have a sudden conversion so much as a visible deepening of a faith that was always present. Raised Catholic in New Orleans, Wayne has prayed before every performance throughout his career, spoken about reading the Bible during his 2010 incarceration at Rikers Island, and discussed his belief in God in interviews dating back to the early 2000s. At the height of his commercial dominance, widely regarded as the most prolific rapper alive, Wayne began speaking about his faith more openly and without fanfare.
I pray every single day and night. I think I said that a zillion times already since we get. I pray a lot. That comes from my grandmother. And she just made me, you're gonna pray regardless.
He discussed prayer. He talked about what he was moving toward. His audience largely expected it to be a passing moment. It was not. He never retracted it, never rebranded around it, and its consistency over decades has made it more credible than any single dramatic announcement could have been.
I'm a young money millionaire, tougher than Nigerian. Hear my criteria compared to your career.
Number 7, Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber's public image by 2014 had deteriorated to a degree that would have ended most careers. Then, beginning that same year, something started shifting. He moved in with Hillsong pastor Carl Lentz and his family in New York as part of a personal detox, and Lentz baptized him privately in a hotel bathtub in Manhattan in late 2014. His association with Hillsong Church became publicly visible. In 2015, and the cynical interpretation that it was a rehabilitation play became increasingly difficult to sustain when he was still talking about it years after any PR benefit had expired. His 2020 YouTube docuseries, Justin Bieber, Seasons, addressed his faith directly and without the gloss of a polished celebrity narrative.
I just didn't know what the heck was going on, and so I really took a deep dive in my faith, to be honest. I just went deep into, I believed in Jesus.
For someone whose entire public arc had been framed as a cautionary tale, what emerged looked less like a comeback and more like a person who had genuinely found something to hold on to. Number 8. Kodak Black. Kodak Black announced his conversion to Christianity in September 2021, and what separated his story from others on this list was the weight of the context surrounding it. He was speaking about faith while still navigating the aftermath of serious legal trouble and periods of incarceration. He was baptized in a ceremony with local Florida ministers. There was no management-approved messaging, no album rollout attached to it. He spoke about it in terms that were unpolished and direct in a way that was almost impossible to package as a PR move, which paradoxically made it the most convincing thing he had said in years. A significant portion of his audience, people who had written him off entirely, stopped and listened.